Hi, and welcome to Mod of the Week. This week we are doing auxiliary lighting. A number of companies make auxiliary lights of various designs, but in essence they are detached lights from the primary headlight. These are added to provide additional lighting and to cover blind spots left by traditional headlights. As far as blind spots go, there are two worth noting. Due to the position of the headlight over the fender, it is unable to illuminate the first dozen feet or so in front of the bike, specifically the ground just forward of the front wheel, where tire placement and maneuvering is most critical. Similarly, headlights are designed with the intention for use on public roads. This means that such lighting is rather limited in how wide it is allowed to spread, in order to prevent blinding other drivers, bothering residencies, and elsewise. Auxiliary lights are usually offered in two varieties: spotlights with a tight 20-degree spread for illuminating at a distance, and floodlights with a loose 35-degree spread for broad illumination. Some lights try to balance the two by giving a 25 to 30-degree spread, but generally riders are interested in only one or the other. Spotlights aid riders at high speed, since they will increase the sight distance of a rider and thereby reaction time when it comes to potential hazards. Floodlights aid riders at low speeds in situations where the immediate environment may be hazardous, such as when off-roading or traveling country roads with deer. Additionally, floodlights maintain illumination in sharp corners, which is very beneficial if you're found riding a series of switchbacks in the dark. For dual sport riders, this is a highly sought-after mod as it allows for an additional level of safety when it comes to riding late at night. With just a headlight, it is nearly impossible to ride many trails should you get trapped after dark, and with auxiliary lights, riding out becomes quite reasonable.
Yep. You see, that makes little difference. Very little difference. Yeah, you see? Can you see it? Huge difference.
If you're planning to install auxiliary lights, be sure to consider the total wattage load you are placing on your bike. For the KLX 250S and many similar sized dual sport bikes, the stator will provide around 200 watts of cruising RPM. Much of this is used by the bike, especially if it's equipped with standard lighting or EFI. On top of whatever you're using, factor in 20 watts to charge the battery and maintain the ignition. The lights I went with are 20 watts apiece, made by Burnsmoto. They are high quality, durable metal components, and thus surprisingly heavy. Some people go with just one, as they are expensive and many bikes don't have the power to spare. When it comes to placing auxiliary lights, you'd be surprised how many options there are. I've seen them mounted to bolts in the handguards, to the forks, on the handlebars, affixed to engine mounts. Really, anywhere there's a bolt is a potential mounting location. In my opinion, the higher the lights are positioned, the better, as this reduces shadows from small obstacles. Ideally, lights would be positioned far from the center, but the further out you get, the more likely they are to be damaged during a crash. Regardless, it is important to mount them on something sturdy, as they are quite heavy and tend to bounce if not fixed appropriately. This is why I mounted mine and placed the stock blinkers, moving my aftermarket blinkers to a small fork mount made by DRC. As far as wiring goes, I recommend installing a relay, as this allows the device to be wired to the key switch without the chance of being underpowered. Many people choose to wire aux lights into their brights, so that they will turn on and off with the flip of the high beam switch. This is a good idea, since flipping two switch gets really annoying. Even if this is done, you should install an additional switch so that you don't have to always have your aux lights on anytime your brights are on. Technically, it's illegal in most states to ride with aux lights activated on public roads, as they can blind other drivers. So, it's better only to turn them on when you actually need them. This isn't something you're likely to get stopped for, and many riders do leave them on during the day, presuming it makes them more visible. I don't think that doing so is beneficial, and in my opinion, leaving them on will increase the likelihood of a crash, as other drivers will have difficulty pinpointing your position. Plus, being blinded might make them look away, and that's never really good.